There are 10 skills of a leader, but before we move there, I want to share a video with you. Hopefully it will play. Can you see? It's not showing. It's funny.
Is it showing on your laptop?
Yeah.
Well, can you turn around your laptop and you can get around and watch your laptop?
You know what, that's okay, I'll change the format next time. I'll bring my own projector and I'll show you, I promise I'll show you these videos. So. That is so strange. Okay, 10 skills of a leader. And now we're getting to really the nitty-gritty of what being a leader means. And it starts on your page 24. So these are the 10, and we're going to go through every single one of them in detail. So the first one is to develop a grand vision and a mission. Do we know the difference between vision and a mission? It's okay if it's not. Okay, what is it? Whoever said yes, what is it?
Grand vision is when you said like, okay, let's do this. It's like when you're an architect, you draw the blueprint and show them what it is, where it is, and we have to go.
And what's the mission?
What you have to do.
Steps.
Is what you have
Have to do. Okay, Marcella?
Vision is where you can go. Mission is how.
Is how, okay.
Like steps.
Steps, okay. What else? We're going to go through that in detail and we're going to see what is the exact description of each one of them. We choose, build, and lead teams, to develop and support the team, skill use, communication, conflict resolution, time management, remove obstacles, ability to accept criticism, feedback, and input from other and selling skills. And we're going to go through every single one of that in details. The skill number one is what is a vision and what is a mission. A vision is what really inspires you to do something. What are you going to do in the future? What are you going to accomplish? In short, what do you do for whom and why? Like you said, it's like the big plan that you put, and this is what a vision is. So a vision, this is the definition of a vision. The vision statement basically, again, it inspires you as a leader or inspires your organization to do better. And in short, it's what the company or what you as a leader do for whom and what are your long-range terms. It's again, it's the big picture of whatever you do. Throughout if we have time before the break, we'll put together a vision statement for us in the class here. And then the mission. The mission basically, it describes what you do, what you do, where is it going, and how different it is from other people. Because you need to tell me, how are you different, for example, BNLP? How is BNLP different than any other leadership program? You know, and I think Viviana this morning, when she explained it, she said that there are a lot of cities that want to do the same and they don't have it. That's why we stand out as a program, as a community program or neighborhood program of leadership. So that's what the mission is. It's geared basically to show people what is going to be done on the midterm. So the vision is the long term and the mission is the midterm. One of them is why and one of them is what. Why is the vision and mission is what? Is the question what? What are we going to do? Okay? Why is why we're doing this? What inspires us to do that? Okay? Are you sure? Because this, believe it or not, vision and mission are a big problem everywhere. Okay, the second part is to build a team. A leader cannot be a leader without having a team, right or wrong? I mean, you cannot be a leader by yourself. You go, oh, I'm a leader, but you don't have a team, you don't have a follower, but you just feel that you're a leader, you know? So I don't think that any of us is schizophrenic to that point. So we know that we are a leader that has to have followers or teams. One of the crucial, like we discussed before, no one is perfect. No one is 100%, you know? Except myself, just kidding. No one is perfect, but that's why the biggest strength that a leader can have is to really do this internal journey, and we're gonna discuss about that at the end of this class today. It's to do a journey inside and to know where they excel and where they are weak a little bit, and know how to form their team together, where the team complement the weaknesses so they can be a very strong front. Okay, so this is part of the skills of a leader. Choose a harmonious team. Harmonious team means that they get along. They can even agree to disagree. It's okay to disagree. We will never be able to please everybody all the time. Even between siblings, between friends, like sometimes even in the committee, we discuss things and we don't agree. But we agree to disagree, and again, with respect, we communicate whatever we need to do and come to a majority of votes or majority of opinions that we work with. So it's all about challenging, and the beauty about our committee is like, it's so diverse, backgrounds, ages, genders, positions, whatever, jobs, whatever it is, it's just different and very diverse. The more diversity you have in a team, the higher number of creativity ideas you can get, the higher number of solving problems. Because each one of us came out from a different background, and we all have different ideas on how to solve a certain problem, depending on the background we come from. So a leader is strong, and remember, there is a saying, I'm sure you heard it before, you are as strong as your weakest link. Do you know what that means? No, okay. It means like, if you have a team and they are all very strong, but you have a person that is weak in something, you're not going to be able to get to that full strength until you make that weak person stronger. You're going to be as strong as the skills or as the personality of that person. Does it make sense? They always say you are as strong as your weakest link. You know, so you need to shore off your weaknesses. So you need to, you as a leader, not only help empowering that person to develop themselves and help them get to a bigger level, but also inspire your team to help their teammate. Like a team building thing. Okay, so you are as strong as your weakest link. And as a smart leader, again, you need to know the strengths and weaknesses in yourself and in your team, because you are the one that is leading them. And then inspire the team in a positive and proactive way. Leaders, someone said in the morning that they need to be positive, and it's very true. If winners are always positive, they have a can-do attitude. Yes, I can do it. You know, no matter what it takes, no matter how hard it's going to be, I know I can achieve that goal. And it's not stupid positive. It's not like everything, yeah. No, it's about basically being smart on what to choose that you are being positive about. Okay? Great leaders also know when to go full speed in something and when to really know when to stop. Because there are things in life that will not, at a certain point, make sense anymore. Or no matter what you do, it's not going to be solved. So you know when and how to give it up. Remember that saying that says, give me the wisdom to know what I can do, and to know the difference. So a leader is basically that. It's like they know when they need to stop and let go. Develop and support. And it's about, again, a leader is about it's all about their team. It's about empowering them. And like we said again, and I will keep repeating this till it makes sense to you. It's not empowering others and give them things, but empowering others to discover their own strength. so they can be powerful. It's about developing your team. It's about embracing your team no matter how diverse and how different they are. It's help every single one of you, and by the end of the course we're going to know how are you as an individual. That's why I always ask each one of you their opinion or what they think about it, because it's about your individuality and what you bring as individuals to the team. It's about collaboration, about together. And it's about offering a safe environment. When I have a leader, I need to make sure that he has my, or she has my back. I need to know that no matter what I'm going to do, I'm going to be covered. And if I'm going to do something that he asked me to do, and then someone else high up doesn't like it, he's going to cover, or she's going to cover me. She's not going to like, whatever, you're on your own. That's not a leader, okay? And make everybody feel important, and then they count, and then they have a value. And that's how you bring a team on board and you show them support. Team-based tools, and to put a team together, when we're gonna do the project, we're gonna brainstorm, and brainstorm means like each one of us will come up with ideas. And at the same time, it's gonna be very nerve-wracking, because we're gonna be like, all of us like, think fast, put things on paper. Maybe I'm not gonna agree with you, maybe you're not gonna agree with me, you know, and put different things, and why we should do it, and why we shouldn't do it. And it's gonna be like planning, organizing, brainstorming, even conflict resolution between each other. So to agree to disagree. It's about communication. It's about different opinions, bringing them together, about our diversity, and about how each one of you as a team will shine, or as a leader will shine. Because again, we said, a leader cannot be a leader if they cannot be good followers. So it's about each one of you to shine separately. Communication is number 5. And by the way, the communication, we have a full session on communication. We have a full 3 hours on communication coming up. I think the third session. Next session is diversity. Communication is, it has, and I'm not going to go into details here because we're going to go into details. Like I said, there is hearing, listening, and active listening. Hearing is like when I'm hearing the air conditioning. You know, it's a noise that I hear. You know, listening is like when you're talking to me and I'm like half listening, half not. And then active listening when I'm totally into whatever you're telling me. And I'm totally collaborating and cooperating in that discussion. And there are 10 elements that we can do to ensure active listening that we're going to discuss in communication. Communicate without allowing your emotions to take over. In my younger years, I used to get very emotional. I'm still very emotional, very passionate about what I do, but I knew how to control the levels of my emotions. There are people that get so angry, and they're not angry at you, they just get very passionate, very angry, and they start like going like this on the table, and they don't mean to be threatening, but this is actually considered threatening in a workplace. You know, but it's just like they get so passionate that they let their emotions take over, either anger or frustration or even love and hugging and hugs everybody, and that can lead to sexual harassment later on. So it's just like, so you have to be careful in whatever emotions you show or don't show. You don't have to be a mask face, but you don't need to let your emotions take over. You need to be emotionally intelligent, and we're going to discuss that after the break, how to be emotionally intelligent. Identify the belief systems that stop communication. Each one of us, as a person, as an individual, as a diverse person, we have our own belief system. And a belief system doesn't necessarily mean religion. A belief system meaning like you have your value, your ethics, and what you believe and what you don't believe. And something that can make sense to me might not make sense to you. Might not make sense to Sandra, or to Anna, or to Julian. You know, it might be different. Like, for example, in certain parts of the world, like India, for example, it's customary, is like when you do business, to offer some gifts. Here in the United States, it can be, depending on the gift, can be seen as a bribery. So depending on the belief system of the community that you're in, you need to know where you are, so you behave accordingly. And this we're going to discuss in details next class in diversity and cultural competence. And then know how to read body language, which is in the nonverbal communication. Like I see people going like this, and I know people do this because they're cold, you know, sometimes. But if you are in a moderate temperament room or in an area that is not too hot or too cold, that means that you're closing yourself up to whoever is talking to you. Meaning that you're being defensive, that you're keeping your distance from the person in front of you. You're not doing this on purpose. It's your defense mechanism, but this is how it translates to other people. And we had a huge discussion in the last class about this. Remember? Mm-hmm. So it's not to have people just will argue that, oh, it's a habit to do that. Yeah, the habit comes from your own belief system that you want to be protected. You want to protect yourself and defend yourself against anybody from the outside. So think about that. And then there are people that will be like this, you know, and I'm talking to you and I'm like, I'm supposed to be a leader. That means that like you're not really very self-confident. When you stand tall and you stand high, that means that you are confident. When you go like this, meaning you're angry or you're thinking, you know, even the eye movements mean something. It's like if you go to the right, means that you are trying to remember something. If you go to the left, you're trying to make up something, that you might not be saying the truth. So, you know, a lot of body language make a difference. And people, you know, we speak 70% through our body language. So you can say whatever you want to say, articulate whatever you want to say, but your body language can be saying a totally different story. And I believe body language more than I believe words. And through the years, somehow I became really good at that. You know, I can just look at someone in their movement and exactly like this, you know, and I can just tell where they're coming from. So it takes a lot of practice to do that and a lot of self-discovery, you know, so. Like we said, leadership is about a journey. There are 5 components to a message in communication, and the 5 components are the sender and the receiver, the culture of the sender, the culture of the receiver, which is coding and decoding, and the message. Like if I am telling Marcella something, I am basing whatever I'm telling Marcella on whatever my culture is, my beliefs, my values, what my experience is. It might not even make sense to her because based on her culture, on her experience, and on her belief system, you know, is what I mean is totally different. So decoding the message is not going to be done properly. And it could be vice versa. So it's sender, receiver, coding, decoding, and the message itself. And again, don't worry about it, we're going to go through details. This is just an introduction to everything. And then you need to read between the lines, meaning, again, it's body language. You need to know what's really going on. And then be very clear and concise. And make sure that your body language matches your actual talking or speech or whatever. Conflict resolution. A big part of a leader is to know how to resolve conflicts. And we have a full class about conflict resolution and conflict management, where we know how a leader can actually resolve a problem between 2 people. And there are different kinds of conflicts, and each one of us, without knowing, adopts a different kind of conflict. We go through different styles of conflict. We can be loving, we can be like, and it's like different animals, like a teddy bear, like a shark, like an owl, like a fox. So we're going to go through that when we come into details. Conflicts, people have a feeling that conflicts are always negative, and a conflict means a fight. It's not true. Conflict can be positive because conflict can be 2 people disagreeing on something that can come up with a new idea, with a new solution that can be implemented if the conflict is dealt with the proper way. There are different mediation systems that we do that we're going to discuss again in details later on, and it's all about respecting differences. It's about agreeing to disagree. And there is a huge difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Assertive is like when you have confidence in what you're saying, when you stand your ground, you know exactly where you are, but you also get in the other opinion. You understand where the other person is coming from. But you express, assertiveness is basically how also to say no in a positive way. Meaning if someone comes and tells you, I need your help right now, I have a time limit that I need to deliver in 2 hours and I need your help right now. You can tell them, you know what, I would love to, but I can do it only after 3 because I have a time limit. Or I'm sorry, I have to leave the office right now, or I have to leave the room right now. or I'm overloaded, I can't do it. It's about saying no with a positive background. Without saying, no, I don't want to help you, so they don't take it as I don't want to help you, but you're actually being assertive and you stand your ground. Aggressive is different. Aggressive is like when you go attack someone else and without being right or wrong won't matter anymore, but you just are attacking someone or being rude, and that's what aggressive is. And again, we're going to go through that into details. We're just opening doors to discussions today, okay? Number 7 is time management. Time management is hugely important. I mean, imagine if I'm giving a presentation to someone and I only have 2 hours, but the material as I have fits in 5 hours. Would that help? Anyone? Or if I have 3 hours and I have material that covers only 1 hour, and then the rest of the 2 hours would be like looking at each other. Does that make sense? And also we need to know that how we deal with time depends on our culture. Because there are cultures that are called monochronic, like here in the United States, and there are cultures that are polychronic, like where I come from. Like Hispanic cultures, like Middle Eastern cultures. There are monochronic, like here in Europe, where monochronic meaning like you get one task and you do it and time is money. Well, you have, people, if they are 1 minute or 2 minutes, that's what's called fashionably late, but not more than 2 minutes. You are expected to be in meetings, you are expected to discuss the agenda, and in and out. Polychronic, like where I come from, the Hispanic communities, and they like to build relationships before anything else. So time is not necessarily seen as lost, but as building relationships. So you go into a meeting and they start asking about your family, about your kids, how are you, and where the kids go to school, how old they are, to build a relationship. And it's the same in Egypt. Okay, in Egypt, you can go to an appointment or to visit somewhere at home, like between 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and that's fashionably late. That's acceptable. You know that, Roxanne. So it's just like, time is very flexible. It doesn't have that importance as it is. Okay, so that's the difference between that. So for us as leaders, if we're doing projects, we need to make sure that we restrict ourselves to that time limit or that time assignment that we have. Putting in our mind, what kind of team do we have? Which culture they come from? How are they going to be dealing with time? Is time flexible for them, or is it a sure thing that has to be done right now? And knowing that will help you manage your time through your whole team. You know who to give what in what kind of frame and how to follow up to achieve success for that. And again, time management is about, of course, setting priorities. And we have a thing about time management as well. And setting priorities, we have a matrix called urgent and important. That whatever is urgent is not necessarily important, and whatever important is not necessarily urgent. So we're going to go through that in details later. Remove obstacles. If I am a leader and you are my team, you as a team, you expect me, if there is a problem, that I remove it out of your way so you can continue your project. Like if you need some more tools to achieve your job or some more tools to finish your project. If you don't have them, you cannot finish your project. You look at me as a leader and you tell me this is what we need to finish. And you expect me to actually give you these tools to finish. So to remove the obstacles out there. Or if there is red tape, for a leader to remove it for you so you can move forward. Some of these obstacles could be lack of trust between team members, tools, anyone from the outside that has a negative effect. Like if you work in an organization and there is someone that is like totally negative or bureaucratic that can get in your way. As a leader, I have to shield you from all that. And then develop effective communication, and we are human beings. So each one of us as a human being is vulnerable to have some personal problems at a certain time or the other. So we need to be, as a leader, empathetic, to understand what the problem can be and try to help you as a person. We are not robots and we're not machines, we are human beings. Criticism and feedback is like you need to be able to accept criticism, especially if it's positive criticism. Even if it's negative criticism, you always get something out of it. Like for example, I was doing a presentation one day, and the presentation was 3 hours. And like you see, I don't really look at things, and most of the stuff is in my head. So I go ahead, and after the 3 hours, I had great comments after that, except one person, and I know why the comments came that way. And they said it was communication, and I was talking about number 13. And I said that number 13 can be lucky in certain area for certain people and unlucky for certain people. Lucky for people from a Jewish background, because in the Talmud, which is the book for the Jewish faith, God has 13 attributes. But for the Christians, the Last Supper, instead of saying 13 people on the table, I said 13 disciples. And this is the only thing that person remembered, that I did that mistake. And I kind of like totally ignored everything in 3 hours, you know, and remembered that. And as much as negative as it was, you know, I took it, I said, I will never forget, and I will never make that mistake again. Because, you know what, because you always take the criticism, no matter how bitter or how negative it is, and you take and you learn something from it. Being criticized is not necessarily wrong, but it has to be done properly. And there are people that mean well, but don't know how to criticize properly. So, thank you. Constructive or destructive. Like there are people that will come and will tear you down, and they do that, believe it or not, out of a good place, out of love. But it doesn't have the same effect as if someone comes and gives you positive feedback. In Toastmaster, where I met Viviana, you know, when we do evaluation or feedback, we have an expression. We say kiss, slap, kiss. Meaning like, say something positive, then say whatever you need them to change. And I always use I. If I was doing this, I would. I'm not telling them you should. Remember, we say always to use I statements. I would do this differently. This is how I would do it. And then end it with a compliment. That's how feedback, even to your children, this is a great way to get your children on board so they can listen to you. When someone speaks to me in a negative way, they turn me off right away. And I think most of us are that way. You know, we just like take it as like, even if they come from a good place, and even if they mean well, we take it as like, I'm not going to even listen. And we could be doing ourselves basically an injustice, believe it or not, not listening. But again, it's about how we lead by example, right? So if we want others to deal with us this way, we need to show them the way as leaders. Set of skills. As leaders, we need to have facilitation skills, presentation skills. Like when you're going to start doing your project, some of you are going to have to do PowerPoint presentations, stand in front of all of us and present their idea. Some of you will have to create fundraising, come up with ideas, and sell it to us. You know, and then you're going to sell us which project we're going to do and why. So you're going to sell us not only your ideas, but only your way of handling things.